Welcome. I'm Sebastian Mahfood, and you're listening to WCAT Radio, the on-air wing of En Route Books and Media, bringing you the dulcet sounds of Catholic wisdom.
So maybe what I wanted to do today is just to bring a simple kind of introduction that can help us as Bible learners to take the gospel to the people, because that is the most important thing. Our main mandate is to educate. Yes, that's our main goal. But now you see, the person who is educating must also be able to understand what it is all about. Because if you don't understand, then what will you educate? What will you do? Number two, apart from educating, then you must be able to live the gospel under the commitment. And that commitment is the most important thing that we need to have in our lives. Thomas, sorry. So we start by saying, Human Life International, which is a pro-life movement. Pro means for life. It aims at promoting and defending one thing, which is the main one, sanctity of human life. Sanctity of human life. That is the aim of this movement. And then the movement, which is the Human Life International. It aims at always promoting the sanctity of human life. Then also dignity of the family, and also faith in accordance with the teaching of the church. And I want to explain that so that we are able. You know, when you talk of sanctity of human life, then we must also start asking ourselves, when does life begin? We know it begins at conception, but life is specifically supposed to come from and begin from the family. So that is why the dignity of the family is of paramount importance. When you affect life, you affect family. When you affect the family, you affect faith automatically. Because you see, if we don't have faith in God, it's like saying we do not believe that it is God who created us, human beings, in His own image. And after creating us in His own image, He gave us power to help Him to co-create. You see that? Yeah. So, in other words, from there we are saying we have no faith. Is it? So that's why you hear many people saying about human life and pro-life is a pro-life, pro-faith, pro-family. You can't. It's like a trinity. It's a trinity of its kind. Life, family, and faith. So you remove the three, then you don't have pro-life. You don't have life land. I think that point is clear. Yes. So that's why we are saying it's a pro-faith, pro-life, and pro-family movement. Your point is sawa?
Exactly.
The other point we needed to do and to understand is this movement is guided by three things mostly. Of course, you're not saying the three only, there can be more than three, but it's guided by one, the Holy Scripture. The Bible is of paramount importance. So if we don't have a Bible, which is our guide? You know, we have said all the books which have been written by human beings, including motivational, inspiration, and whatever, no book that has more power than the Bible. So if you are pro-life, whatever, the Scripture is the first thing that we must do. The second thing that we must use is Catechism of our Catholic Church. The Catechism is a very big book, of course, but we all of us went through Catechism. You know? And Catechism of our Catholic Church is so rich with so good news and truth. It is unfortunately currently in our society, we don't want to read religious books. We want to read these other inspiration and whatever. And that is one of our main disadvantage of life. And the other one is in the magisterium of the church, especially human vitae. I think you are one of that. The popes and the church and the councils.
What one that is?
Human vitae. Human vitae. F-I-T-A-E. Human vitae. That's a book which is written on human life, sanctity of human life, dignity of the family, and whatever. It was written by Pope, of course, by the councils of the church. So those are the main things. The teaching of the church, literally, that's what we are saying, which teaches about family, which teaches about faith, which teaches about all those things. That's what we emphasize on that. So what we can add there is any other teaching that is relevant to the pro-life, to the human life, international teaching, because there are so many other books which are written on that, and any other religious Catholic teaching of these three things. We go through the foreign groups. One, young people. We go to the young people. And what do we do to the young people? We need to teach young people in the developmental issues. One, developmental issues. And youth issues on crisis. Now there are crises, and that's where he was coming in.
Yeah.
And then Christian morality. You know, there are developmental issues. They are growing. That's okay. And therefore, that's why we need people who are very good in psychology, in biology, whatever. Because developmental issues, whether you like it or not, they are part and parcel of our human life. Then, issues, youth are in crisis. There is no doubt about it. There is a lot of crisis, there is a lot of confusion, there is a lot of whatever, this and that. And then we need also to go back to our Christian morality. And the basis of our Christian morality is to ask ourselves, what was the purpose of God creating human beings? What was that the reason that made God create human beings different from other creatures? If we can be able to get that, then we'll be able to understand what is all about human life. We'll be also able to understand what is the morality that we are expected to. Because we say outside God, there is no morality. Outside God, there is no morality. We can give excuses about this and that and that. Like when you hear people talking about abortion. And normally they say there is a time the doctor can abort. But you see, before you say that the pregnant mother, the expectant mother has a problem, the question we should be first asking is, did we try by all means with our medical knowledge to prevent something from occurring so that we don't rush on to an option? Because the first thing is to try. It's like if the car is falling and you know it's falling, the first thing you need to try is how do I overcome the accident? It's not the issue of athletic fall. In any case, it was inevitable. You know, that's what people do. But was it preventable? That's the question we should be able to ask. So now, what is it that we need to give you? What kind of knowledge do we need to give young people? One, value of chastity before marriage. Value of chastity before marriage. In other words, a young person should remain chaste until marriage. Now, I know when I say that, it's very tricky because currently sex has become food. and everybody wants to eat it. And it's because of the media. The media, and the discussion the young people have. Then we go also to our families, men and women are doing it as if it is food. So you see at the end of the day, the models, the role models we don't have. And that is the problem. But in any case, chastity is inevitable. It was possible during our African culture. Now we don't want to have African culture and people are not discussing about our African culture and values. They are discussing anything else. And we want to be westernized as much as possible. But I still believe we need to go back to our culture. It was more value oriented than the Western culture. Although what we are calling Western culture, for me it's not Western culture. It's a media kind of communication. It's a confused kind of culture. I don't know. It's something which is not in existence. So that is one. Chastity is important, and it's chastity before marriage. In other words, it's like saying abstinence. You abstain completely until that time you get your life partner for marriage. Number 2, fidelity after marriage. Fidelity. Stick to one partner. Be faithful to that. And one thing we need to realize, sex will never satisfy you. Actually, we say the more you do it, and the people, if you do it more many people, it creates guilt. That's a fact, but it creates another desire that you become possessive. But after the end of it, it will always have guilt out of it in your life. So fidelity after marriage is very important. Another thing is choice of marriage partner. Choice of marriage partner. You know, there is a process that you come to get to a marriage. It's not just you wake up tomorrow and you say, I have to marry, and you marry. You know, we start with acquaintances. You know, we socialize. Because we are socialized being, we are social being, we socialize with so many people and whatever. Out of those social life and social person, you go coming to a group of people, you find yourself sharing more, which you call just friends. Until you're able to get now, so that you can be able to see a solid friend. Yes. And a solid friend here would mean that now you can now be able to freely share with, and you can also plan for your life and for your future. So it is important to do that. Then the other thing we need to teach young people is evil of contraceptions. You know, contraception is danger and is disastrous. And I know many people, especially women, they fight for their rights. And where there is contraceptives, there is one thing we are doing. Sex is good, pregnancy is evil. That's the purpose of contraception. You can have sex as many times as you want. The only problem and the only sin is being pregnant. That's the rule of contraception. I don't know whether you are aware of that. Very tricky. and the people have taken it for that. Apart from that, there is other effect of contraceptives. Remember, I always give example of fertilizer. You know, if you want to make maize grow very fast, you put fertilizer. What happens if you put more fertilizer? It will grow very fast and very fast. But when it comes to producing, it will produce maize which is scattered. I think you have ever heard that. Because it has more than it needs. Most of the contraceptives are meant for that. That if it is estrogen or prostrogen, you are handing more prostrogen to the body, so that when it comes to implantation, when it is too much, there is nothing which can be planted there. You see that? So the land, let's say that the womb is rendered. I don't know how you can put it, but it's rendered impossible for it to accept the fertilized egg. Are we there? Yes. So that's the purpose of contraceptives. And you can name all the contraceptives you know, from morning after and whatever. Number 3 about contraceptives, all contraceptives, or even 99% of contraceptives, are abortifacient. They don't prevent conception, they prevent implantation. So if you take a contraceptive saying morning after, if there was fertilization, it does not, contraceptive will not go to fallopian tube. The sperm will go. So when that egg is fertilized, it will still come to the womb. So it is only the womb that it cannot get planted there. The child will not start growing. Are you there? So that's why we say, the more you use contraceptives, the more you are making your womb a very fertile kaburi for marrying your children. So that is it what we are doing. So that's another effect of contraceptives. It does not prevent conception. It only prevents implantation. So it is an abortion. It aborts. Very early abortion. Is it okay? So that is it. Then we also teach you about abortions and the related dangers. What is the danger? You know, abortion, there are so many types of abortion, yeah? And every abortion has its own danger. And you know also people have died as they abort. So some have aborted and even the womb is removed, or it is teared. So there are so many issues related with abortion. Maybe the other issue also related with abortion and contraceptives. It is also bringing issues of hypertension. Because you see, when you are taking a drug, it's like if you are supposed to take 2 Panadols, so you take 4 Panadol 5. What happened to your heart? It beats fast. Now, when you add more estrogen or estrogen to the body, and the number one is there, you are adding an extra thing. So what happens? You fasten your body functioning. So that's why some of these things you find people have a lot of sicknesses. Another thing that we need also to concentrate on, especially when we are teaching the youth, is Western evils in the usage of condoms. Condom is also disastrous. But what is the purpose of a condom? It still has the same purpose. Sex is good. Pouring sperm in the vagina is bad. And it's like saying no need of pregnancy. You see, that's the issue also. But now they will tell you, if you use condom, there is no HIV. See, that's what they say. There is no HIV. Yet the virus of HIV is also very small. It can also still sometimes go through the friction of the condom because it is a paper. It's a plastic thing. So there are so many evils present on condom, and we need to do that. Maybe the other thing also, which we may not be known through these issues, condom, contraceptives, and abortion. When you read the history of Margaret Sanger, Charlz, who are the other one? There are many. These guys, they were the people who were against rebellion because they were persecuting so much and they were the population. And they feared there is a time that the American will be ruled by the other people apart from they themselves. And the issue was, is it possible, this is the main issue, is it possible to reduce the population? And if it is possible, how do we go about it? That's why you hear the issue of smallpox and other things. Then as they went on, they said, if it is not then possible, is it possible now to have? Charlz was so much on the asylum issue that we can build people in the villages and let them stay there and we control their birth. His cousin, genetics, the eugenics issue. He came and said we can selectively select genes. You see, selectively means if you are rich and you are elderly, you can be around to get birth. If you are not, then there is no need of giving birth. And if you happen to give birth, then we can still remove what is inside. So the issue of abortion theory. And that's where now Margaret Sanger and Maria Stopes emphasize so much on it. So, Akuna Anja. So the original purpose of abortion was to remove children from the poor and the maid and the disabled and the sick. So that we can only perpetuate the kind of people who are rich, healthy, and educated. That is the original purpose. And that's why, if you look at the Maria Stop today, even in Kenya, it is in the slums. It's not in the very big. You cannot find them in the city, mostly. But in the slum area, Malare, you find them. When you go to Embu, where they are in Korogosho there, that's what they expect those poor people. What is their philosophy? Those who cannot afford to go for abortion in a big hospital or whatever, there is free abortion. And in Africa, when you have 3 things, you rush. That is it. And now, it also happened that in Kenya, every hospital is supposed to have a special HIV zone, but specifically it's not an HIV area or ARVs, it's an area to distribute contraceptives. In hospitals, government hospitals, that is there. Even in Wachira is there. Kama mko aware. Is it there? Are you aware?
No.
It is there. So that is it. Tested evil, the usage of condoms, and then effect of HIV/AIDS. Now we understand who had written about HIV in Kenya. That is Dr. Wanene. He wrote 2 books. HIV, the outside story, MBC of corporatization. And recently we had the same guy who was forced to produce the HIV virus confessing. Did you get that in news? It was in the news. The man who produced the HIV virus confessed.
When was it?
Last month, either December or November. And when he confessed because he was being told to produce another virus because HIV is not working. And it was purposely to wipe the black and the poor. That was the purpose. When Wanene wrote those books, his license for medical and because he's a researcher was withdrawn by President Moi. Are you aware of that? It was withdrawn. Just like when Omega tried to come up with the medicine, it was also the license was withdrawn not to practice. And when you go to America, the same medicine is used to treat HIV. Those are some of the things which are there. And Wanene is categorical. I think we should get that book and read. Those book of Wanene, they are very good HIV and how it was. One of the guy also who was telling us HIV was a production, he was a very good pro-lifer, HLI. He has written a very good book for HLI. I don't remember. I think I should have that book, but I don't know it is currently. And this man was in the Department of Defense in America. He was a Jesh. He was an army in America. And he is the one who was telling us it is true. In 1972, they decided to produce that. And in America, most of the worst things in America are revealed in the Department of Defense, such that nobody knows because they are very secretive. And that's why you cannot touch the American army and the British army. So you may not understand how these things are coming. Again, the most educated guys, they are there. It's not like that. So they are there. So those are some of the things. There is also that book that we need to read about HIV by Brian, Dr. Brian. He has written so much about life. That is commonly what we are supposed to do by young people. They are others. Like now what we are talking of, what is happening in the current society, the media, the strikes, the role models, those are issues we talk to the young people. Now to the old and the young, now this is old and the young in the perspective, not very young youth. These are those who are transiting from youth now to married life, then to old age. These people we are supposed to teach them on marriage. Marriage should be rated as a community life after the Trinitarian model. Marriage is a community life. Does that make sense to you? Does it make sense? Community life.
No.
What's a community life?
A life of share.
Yes. So the husband and wife should be a community. When the children comes in, it should be a community. You know, the other day when we were talking about family, I was telling the Christian. When you go to an hotel to eat, you have a very good community life. Mnaitisha nyama kwa sahani moja, mnaitisha ugali kwa sahani moja. So we take meat, we take ugali in the same plate. Bora tumeoga mikono. That's community life. When you go to the family, you have plates. So unapea mwanako anakaa kando, mtoto wako anakaa kando, huyu mwingine anakaa kando. So at the end of the day, community life has run away from home to the hotels. And you see, if you go like to the Luo community, that's they cook ugali, they put it in the same place. They already eat from one pot. That's the community life. I don't know whether you are getting.
Yes.
So, and then now you can ask yourself, then what is the purpose of a dish? Dish in family. You're supposed to take from the same pool and eat. That's the common. Anyway, it is in term of life. The other thing on community life that we need also to check and realize is when you talk of community life again, we are bringing all what we have as a husband, as a wife, and then as children, as a father, as a mother, to the common pool. Everything is brought and it becomes a family thing, not individual things. So when you hear in the family somebody saying, my cow, my house, my radio, then there is no community like that. Hata wewe ujui ulioa kwa nini. Because these things should be ours. And that's why I've also been giving examples with Indians. Ikifika saa saba wamefunga wameenda kukula. But sisi Africa, ikifika saa saba unaambia bibi, wewe enda ukule kwanza, maliza ukuje na mimi niende. No community life. And where there is no community life, then there is no common sharing, there is no common agenda, you don't have a lot of sharing. So you don't have things to bring you together, where you don't eat together. Because one of the greatest things that can bring people together is eating. And moving. When you go to an hotel, you are going to plan how to become a rich. Is it true? So when will the family plan to be rich? When will the family plan to be faithful? If not in the eating. You think about it, eh? It may look a symbol, but it's a very important thing. It's supposed to be a community life. Then we also teach this couple or these young people contraceptives again, abortion, abortifacients, like morning after pill, all the other pills and the rest. So we also teach them. Now, why do we teach them? Because we must tell them the dangers, we must tell them what is not important. And then, after you teach that, then you must teach them natural family planning. Natural family planning. And this is often as a natural way of doing marriage or doing sex, and also spacing of the children. When I've been talking about, when I talk about natural family planning, and I tell people there are more than 5 natural methods of family planning, they don't understand. You know, people think there is only one natural family planning. There are more than 5. When you talk of contraceptives, there are so many also. But the issue is, natural family planning is important, and people should be taught, and it's not one way of doing things. But again, all these things, and especially natural family planning, it also means community life. It is a communal thing between husband and wife. It is not a personal thing. Usiseme ni kitu ya wanawake, sio ya wanaume. Kwani huyo mwanamke ni nani? Huyo mwanaume ni nani? You married for one person. Sawa?
Yes.
Sawa. So those are the 2 groups we deal with. But of course, you can deal with so many other groups.
Maybe you can mention this natural
Munataka gani ya that should be a lesson for another day. Lakini kuna sentoramo, kuna calendar, kuna miocaso,
Yes.
kuna temperature by itself is also a method.
Exactly.
Temperature. Nimesahau moja. But anyway, there are those. And you can understand that.
I can add those ones later after father has finished, because I've studied. I got a training from USA on it's an organization called FEMF.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they trained us on these things of natural family planning. Yes, the calendars for the state, the temperature and stuff. So maybe later I can add on that. Yeah. Maybe further if I can add something on that. As for the experience I've had in Africa, it's a bit very difficult, especially in these days, to do the natural family planning, because it needs, in the very first place, to establish the calendar of this person. It really must be known that for this person, her calendar goes like this. So that means the falling or the rising of the temperature has this way. All the things, because the calendar determines the healthy status of a woman. So we have to establish that you become sure of your healthy status. But now, how do you establish it? We really need to have a center like this one where women will be going in and they will be trained, like you have to do this and this and this. It needs observation of the mucus. Then during the observation of the mucus, it needs you to abstain for the first 4 months, because we have to be sure from the first, second, third, and fourth month that your calendar is this way. Some have the fluctuation of the calendar and what. So it becomes difficult first for the men to accept, like, to leave their wives for the first 4 months without doing anything, because there should be no any contamination of the mucus. Then a woman has to observe every day and has to write it down, like maybe the mucus has appeared to be maybe with this color or with this content or with this and this. So some they feel it's awkward. And when it's difficult maybe for you to realize what is this, you have to communicate with the expert telling you, if you have observed maybe this color, you must be having maybe a fever, so go for checkup. Women, they fear to report to others about their healthy status. And it becomes a bit a challenge. Yeah.
You get that.
So,
But the issue is not because it's Africa.
yeah.
The issue is because of lack of commitment. You know, sometimes we hear, it's just like health, just natural health. African men don't want to go to hospital, even when they feel something.
Yes, it's very bad.
But you see, if you value your health,
Cool.
if you value your health, because also pregnancy has to do with health, remember? If you are pregnant, after every pregnant, no, this is not cow, they will do the cow, after 3 months you can have. Because we are looking at, actually we are not looking at the health of the cow, we are looking at how many cows you can get to make money. Now, it's not this to human beings. And if the husband really loves the wife, you should be able to work with this woman. If you love the wife. In Africa, natural family planning was very easy because I know we say that, but the people will also tell us that's why many men and many wives. But there were men with few wives. The only difference was that no woman used to sleep together with the husband. The husband house was different from the wife's. Yeah. And you could not get another child until this first child serves you food. That was display. Funny.
That's true.
Why is it today you say you cannot sleep a week without sex unless you are sex mania? You know, those are things we needed to question. There are things about diets, about climate, about there are so many things. Then they are putting work. Because nowadays, and this is also danger. When you see originally men used to work and pray, but now we are saying all of us need to work. I need my money. That's why I'm saying there is no community life. Because again, hii pesa ya mwanaume ni ya nani? Na hii pesa ya mwanamke ni ya nani? Again, one thing I always know about money. Money is not yours. It's for others to eat. Ama? Yeah. Even when you farm in the shamba, kwani utakula ngapi? You know sana. Hiyo ingine ni ya nani? And if you don't give your wife or your husband, hiyo pesa utatupa na wengine nje. It must be eaten. Anyway. So I think
it must be eaten.
It must be eaten.
Are you serious?
It is true. It must be eaten. Who is eating it? Yes.
And it was this has been part of the solution. I was told of a clinic in Nyeri, which is a national clinic. It also has stout Catholic doctors who offer the natural family planning.
Yeah.
So that could be a good move, whereby the church has those people who are the specialists doing that they can be better. Like in Nairobi, that one is called Dr. Omegari.
Even Dr. Karanja used to teach it.
You meet going to him, he offer you the right message of natural family planning.
In Nairobi, you have many. We have Dr. Uyo, Karanja, Dr. Kiora. There are several actually in Nairobi. And in Embu, we are couples who had been taught to both teaching. But I think most of them are retired now. We used to have also an office in Embu there, near the parish there, which is no longer there because they have retired. But I think it's also because pro-life ilifika pahali because of ups and downs na kupigwa hapa na maaskofu na mapadri, sasa tusikizani ikaanzia kufifia. And when we trying to register Human Life International, we had a very big problem with the Kenya Episcopal Conference of Bishops. And by the way, now I don't know whether we have still been registered fully. So there are those issues. But then also the members, including Kajama. It's like also he is moving out. He wants to become more acting like Kalkilonzo and whatever. He is looking for his name more than protecting and defending people. Anyway. But in God will show us the way, whichever the case. Is it okay? Now, we can have another time for learning about natural family planning. We can't do it today because, and even when we talked about contraception, we have so many things to do about contraceptives and about natural. This was just a kind of an introduction, so that you know there is much to be done by for life. And by the way, we have materials, nothing we don't have. We have all those books you can read for yourself. So. Then we ask ourselves, why pro-life? Why pro-life? Why Human Life International? Why life learners? You know that's the question we need to. So that we don't just go to a movement or to a club or to wherever without a reason. It's like I asked, in the beginning I asked, why didn't God create us? What was the reason that God saw that he should have somebody like him? Let us create one in our own image. You know, it's like when a couple says, now we are ready to give birth. What are you giving birth to? Are you ready for this? You know, that's so it's like asking, was God ready to create somebody like him? And if he was ready, what was the reason behind it? You see that? Why did God decide to share life with us? Because life is the breath of God. Purposely, you know, the rest is matope. But there is this one thing that God gave me and you, breath. Why did he decide to do that? So the same way we ask now this simple question, why pro-life? Why human life? Why life learner? And maybe the simple answer I can give is that we are living in a world that no longer hold life sacred. Life is no longer sacred. Is life sacred today in our society? You have had people killing each other very, very easily. It's like a cow, goat, somebody burning the wife, the children, somebody chopping others' parts. Is life sacred? Mkiangalia mnaona kama ni sacred nini?
It's not. Absolutely not.
So, life is no longer respected. Somebody will tell you life, I can kill you. And originally, people respected life. And people respected others. If you respect life, will you kill your wife? Will you kill your child?
No.
Will you poison somebody?
No.
So today, life is not as respected. And by the way, if you want to know, today even we don't respect people. Do we? You have had the people abusing Uhuru and the president of Kenya anyhow. Ulisikia kama baba akisema kama unataka kuja ni kuja. And that's a president. Now, the same way, if you don't respect your father, how do you respect life? You don't respect. And the Bible is very clear about respect, by the way. Is it? Respect is paramount. And we are told if you don't respect your parents, then you will get problems later, and even your line is cut short. So it's very clear. And I want to relate that with life. Because if you don't respect life, there is no you respect human beings. The other one is that there is a lot of anti-lifers. Anti-lifers, watu wengi wamekuwa ndio worshippers. You know, people don't believe the worshippers is a reality. Illuminati is a reality. And the anti-lifers and this, whatever, you know, the devil, there is this analogy which is given. When Michael and Lucifer fought, Lucifer wanted to be like God. Ni kama vile Uhuru akitoka anataka kuwa president. That's what Lucifer wanted. He wanted to occupy that position of God. But Michael, being the fearful and respected person, he said, no, you can't do that. So, you know, there was a war. So when there was a war, and Lucifer was defeated by the Michael, are we there? Yeah. Then Lucifer was thrown out. That's what we are told. He was thrown out to hell. No, well, normally we say he was thrown to hell, isn't it? But he was thrown to a place where there is nothing. You see? So when he was there, he felt so lonely and tired. So he said, I must get out from that place. So when he got out, he went to Eden, where there was human being. And he realized that just like he was almost the same with God, these human beings are the same with God. And it is easier to cheat them. Just like I wanted. And it is the same lie. Now, God has told you don't do this because he does not want you to be like him. You know, that was the same sin. So he came to cheat. So that now he can have his followers. And it is from there now, the Lucifer will always come to human being to make disciples. Are we there? He is coming to us because he knows we are very close to God. We are created and we share the path of God. Him doesn't, but we share. So he must convince us. And that is why part of the highest sacrifice you can do to become the biggest person in the devil worship is sacrificing somebody's life.
Especially the innocent one.
The innocent one and the virgin one. Are we there? So that's what we talk about in anti-lifers. Now, anti-lifers, they teach the following. They advocate the use of condoms. For instance, trust condom. And I want you to take some things here. Trust. You must only trust in God. But they are put. I don't know. You know, people when they have condoms, they don't see they want to trust. Yes, it's for a purpose.
Exactly.
You are told to trust in this thing. It is more important. Don't trust in God. God cannot prevent you from getting pregnant, but this one can. Are we there? Yes. And if you look at all those things they use, it is of the same. Another one they do is they promote, they are pro-abortionist, and they have the slogans for pro-abortion. They say right of the mother. It is the right of the mother too. To decide with what to do with his life and his body. So right of the mother. Then they also say freedom from guilt. You don't have to feel guilt. You are not intended for this child. You are not ready for that child. So why should you feel guilt that you have removed? You know it's killing, but they want now to remove the guilt part of you. Then they also say personal responsibility. It's a personal responsibility. It's not the issue of my husband. Not even the church. Hii ni mwili yangu. So if I want to be fat and be where I do. If I don't want, I have a choice. So like they are saying, my dress, my choice. You know? So those are things. And all these things came from America, by the way. So, and then also they talk of there is no consequences. He's an expert doing it. Doctors are doing it. They have been trained to do it. So, why think of consequences? Which consequences are you talking about? But one thing we have always seen and known is that as long as you are a Christian, whether you do it one day, it will haunt you. It won't. Because I've seen people calling us in the deathbed for conversion. So it means it hurts. Hata ukifanya hata ukiwa mang'aa, it will hurt you at the end of the day. Then the other thing which also the anti-lifers will always do is misconception between birth control and contraceptives. Is there a difference between contraceptives and birth control?
Yes.
Huh? So are they using contraceptives or they are doing birth control?
They're using contraceptives.
But they are controlling birth.
So they're mixing them up.
And what should we do?
We should do birth control and not use
So this is the issue we are saying. Then the issue would be, how do you control birth? Is it by contraceptives? Is it by abortion?
No.
Is it by spacing, properly, naturally? And that is the issue. If Africa needs to do it, can't we really do it?
Okay.
We can't do it. So it's just a matter of commitment. So birth control, it is the spacing of children by the couple so that they don't bring more children into the world that they can love and care for. That's the purpose of birth control. Contraception is the reparate temporary sterilization of sexual act so that the life given and dimension is destroyed. It's the destruction of the life. That's what we are saying, contraception. And I said that area is an abortifacient. So if you don't want the child, you and your husband, the husband and the wife should be communicating and talking and saying, now we have a child. I remember one lady who had put no plan. You know no plan? Inapandangwa hapa. Sijui wanaipanda wapi. Normally ni ya kutoka miaka 3, 4, 5. So sasa yeye alipanda. And after 7 years akatoa. Alipotoa alitafuta mtoto miaka 15. Bali alipatia mtoto, alikasirika. Alipata watoto wamefuatana. Sababu ya kukasirika. Alisema sasa nilitaka watoto 5, wacha nipate haraka before those things again. Because now you can imagine the first one is the difference of the first one and second one is almost 20 years. What is that? So these are some of the things. But you know, these people will not tell you this. The couples will not tell you this. But you are able to see difference ya mtoto huyu na huyu miaka 15. You can be able to see. Then unauliza, unasikia utakiuliza ni nini kili happen? Hakuna kitu kili happen. You use contraceptives. And in the process, they affected. When you remove them, because the doctor will tell you, ukiweka no plan, haina shida, utatoa within 2-3 months, itarudi normal. Sometimes it doesn't, depending on the body. It doesn't. Even the method of propera, 3 months. Sometimes you remove it, it doesn't work. Some of the people have hemorrhage. They bleed. So it depends. So we have to be careful with that things. So anti-liver use 2 terms interchangeably: contraceptives and hiyo tumesema nini? Birth control. And this is what the church condemns. We must be critical. What are we using and what are we using? Birth control is taken as a fact, while the truth is the church encourages responsible parenthood. Ours is responsible parenthood. Are you responsible? Whether you have one child, do you have time for that child? Do you care for that child? Because currently we have children, yes, but we don't care. They are lost. Tumeachia watoto nini? Simu na nini kingine? Mliona jana juzi watoto wakifungua huyo msichana alikuwa amekunywa. Alafu anaulizwa kwa nini ulikunywa, akasema I was just like my mother. My mother does that. So the mother was trying to pamper Toto, but it was too late. Because remember, the child learn more from what we do than what we say. Is it? What we do and what we say. And so the church is so much strict on control, bad control. It's not so much for it. It's so much for responsible parenthood. Now let's look briefly at the quality of a pro-lifer. This is good for us. What's the quality of a pro-lifer? Quality. You see, currently, even with the new curriculum, CBC, we are saying we must create values. Senor? Values are very important. So one of the qualities of a good pro-lifer, a pro-lifer must be one, be prayerful. You must be prayerful. Kama uombi, wacha hii kasi tu mapema. If you are not a prayerful person, you don't say rosary, you don't go for mass, you don't receive Holy Eucharist, you don't go for occasions for pro-lifers. And for anybody who really respects God and life, you must be prayerful. How do we pray then? We pray with the following: undivided attention. Pray with undivided attention. Don't go to prayer and when you are saying, niko misa masaa mawili, nikitoka misa naenda. That undivided attention, you will not participate in that Holy Mass. You will not participate in that prayer. So you should commit yourself and say, if I'm doing this, this is what I'm doing, specifically for that. 2, pray with complete trust in God. Trust in God. Complete trust. You must have complete trust in God. Complete. You know, I don't know whether you people, we know the scripture. Jesus says, ask anything in my name. And you know, the ministries, although they get powers from other places, they know. And that's why, akifanya hivi, munaanguka. Akisungusa kitamba hivi. So, mkiona watu wameanguka, now they trust you, not God. They trust the prophet, the pastor, the apostles. Now, people have moved their trust from God to people. But I want you to go asking yourself, did God teach us through His Son, Jesus Christ, that whatever we ask? Do you believe when you go there in the church and you pray seriously, God can fulfill your desires? If you don't believe that, don't believe with Father Isaiah. Me, I'm not God, I'm also believing in God. Are you there? And it's not by my power that I do it. It's by God's power. But people have stopped that. And that's why you find some people go to the church and they say, kama leo ni nani, I do what I need. You switch off. Are you there? Sometimes I ask myself, if it was my child and I say, kama huyu ndio baba yangu, wacha akae. But he's still in the home. And the child is still in the home. And they expect to inherit from you. So you can imagine that. That's what we are telling God by being selective. So complete trust in God. Then with resignation, you resign completely. Resign ni kusema nini sasa? You totally say, like Mary, I am the handmaid. Lord, do to me as you wish. And you can read the life of the prophets. Most of the prophets are Isaiah, Jeremiah, even Akina Peter. What about us who have left everything? You know? So you dedicate yourself. Na kuna kitu kimoja nitawaambia. There is nobody who has dedicated his life totally to God lacks anything. Even a priest, even a married couple, even whatever. You know, when you dedicate yourself everything, you know, I've heard people, and this is mostly in the Catholic Church. Some people say, I cannot give 10%. Serious. But do you know, if you calculate that 10% by the end of the year, by the end of the month, what have you done? So you can't compare kanisani. Umefanyia nini? Are we there? But if you look at the people who are very dedicated, unaona mtu anafanya kazi kwa sababu hii ndio kazi ameitiwa na Bwana, utaona akikosa vitu. Sometimes I tell people, you may not have as much as you think you should have, but you'll never, hata watoto wako watatoka shule, you may not have be rich as the others, but you'll be a happy person. Is it okay? Then the other one is with perseverance. We must persevere. Being prayerful is not easy. Being committed to church is not easy. It means a lot of perseverance. And sometimes, and that's why I like the Sister Faustina. She was told in one of our visions that why sometimes you feel you don't want to confess to a father or to receive to a Eucharist is because you only go to receive and you go for mass, you go for confession, but you don't pray for father. Because also fathers need prayer, they have also the temptation that you have. Actually, that's what she was told by Jesus. So what am I saying? Perseverance is supposed to be there, and we must persevere because all of us are in the world, which is, and lastly, you need to have, in prayer, you must be humble. Humility is needed. Humility is needed. Jesus humbled himself. Nothing Jesus did without us praying. Kama kuna kitu Yesu alifanya kama hajaomba? Yesu alijiombea mpaka akikufa. Kama anaomba akufe vizuri. And this is what he taught the disciples. Pray so that you may not fall to temptations. Even when you pray the prayer of our Father, you say, lead us, not to temptation. Number 2, you must lead a good spiritual life. You must lead a good spiritual life. The first one was prayer. Now here you must lead a good spiritual life. And I think this is good for us. Charlz,
Yes.
As life learners, you need frequent mass. See, one mass per year. Frequent mass. You need frequent prayers reading. I know you are very good at sending readings every day. I don't know whether they read.
It is harmful.
But it's good. Yeah, you know they can say good, but they have not read. You know people can say good, but they have not read those reading. Sacrament of reconciliation regularly. Mother Teresa used to say that she used to go for confession 3 times a day. I don't know how many times you can go yourself, but Mother Teresa used to say that. And John Paul also used to say the same. And the people started asking, now, nani ana confess Pope? So that was it. And this thing was discussed back here with Mother Teresa and John Paul the second when they came to Uganda. That time they did it. Then daily examination of conscience, daily examination of conscience. It's very important. Daily examination of conscience. Of course, what you need to add here is recorrections, retreats, and spiritual journey. You know, they are very important. Very important. Mother Teresa used to say, spiritual life is more valuable when you do small act of charity. You know, because it shows how good you are. And number 3, pro-lifer must remain chaste before and after marriage. They must remain chaste before and after marriage, both in the thoughts and in deeds. You can read that in Matthew chapter 5, verse 27. Both before and after pro-lifers, they must. That's a very important thing. So you must avoid those free messages, sex messages, wherever in your phone, and going to pornography. By the way, we have a very big issue in schools, and especially in the colleges and universities. There is a lot of masturbation, there is a lot of pornography. So, you know, people look very smart outside, but what is happening is too dangerous. So we must tell people the truth. And we must read that. You can also read in Matthew 5:48 says, "Be holy as your heavenly Father is holy." So sanctity is very important, and we must maintain that. Number 4, pro-lifer find their strength in their faith. Pro-lifer find their strength in their faith, and I can attest to this. When you are so faithful and principled to your faith and principles and committed to your spiritual life, people will run away from you. Watakujaribu, mwisho watainua mikono na watakuacha. And you know, later on after they go, they will come and say, what do I do now here? Because you see, sometimes you go waanguke. Mwisho tulikuwa na huyo mtu lakini anaonekana watakuja kwako mwisho kuuliza, how do we go about it? So, we find our strength in our faith. And it is faith in God, not in uchawi. So, we find. Then, Proverbs also seek out others who share their concern. Seek others who can share your gospel, your values. Usichukue mrafiki tu kwa sababu ya kuchukua rafiki. It's not. Currently, people are taking friends because they are talking of business, but you don't know. I think there was only that ilivutika. There is somebody who was a pastor. I asked somebody who sent me to send me, so I sent to the group. This pastor alianzia kanisa yake, ikaanzia na watu 15 au 20 hivi, akaanzia kuona watu wanaenda wakiisha. Akiangalia the neighbor church inaongezeka, watu ni wengi. Sasa akaenda kuuliza advice kwa hiyo pastor, what can I do? Naona watu wangu wanaisha kanisa yangu itaisha. Akamwambia kuja nikuonyeshe nitakupeleka, bora kuja na 100. Then they went to Nigeria. They went to the sea. Then they saw a mama, inaitwa mama what? Mama coming. And then akaambiwa na huyo pastor usiogope. So akakuja. They started talking and whatever. Then he was told, we are going to give you a ring and through the pastor. But for you to get to the form of power, you must sleep in his mermaid. So they had sex with the mermaid there on the sea. Hallelujah.
Amen.
So, and when he was told, you are the one to go and minister in that church now, the church in Nigeria. And he went and ministered. So he started praying and preaching. Alipofanya hivi na kitambaa yake, watu wote wakaanguka. Then the guy was surprised. How? Kwani power imekuja haraka aje? And when he came, he started coming with it. See, akona power. But now, he was given condition. One of the condition is, you must sleep with a virgin. So you every week and every day. Then akauliza how? Don't worry. Virgin will be coming by themselves. Sijui akapewa another whatever. So, alipokuwa anapata hiyo mafuta, virgin wanakuja. So they went to an hotel that night, and what they did in the same while, the virgin came. They slept. Anyway, nitawatumia.
What was the end of the story, Father? How
The
did
end of
it?
the story,
Yes.
this man went on with the people, but he felt so much guilt. He decided to reveal to another counselor, pastor. And when he revealed, that day he revealed, this man who is now writing, this man died through a road accident.
The one who was revealed to,
Yeah.
or the one who
The one who revealed, now the one who was going for power. Because he said, I cannot die. God, I'm seeing God coming for me and whatever, but I'm not ready to die in the death for it. So when he did that, he died. That's the end of the story there. And by the way, now, you know, the other day I was sharing with my brother, he's a police in Mombasa. And we shared the same because I was trying to share with him and whatever. And he told me, Father, let me tell you, maybe I didn't believe this thing, but now today, in Mombasa, kuna pahali mapasta, na aka-mention, akinanganga sijua akina what, he mentioned, they go to pray under the sea in the evening, occasionally now. He has seen them. Wanaendanga. Kumbe wanaendanga power. Anyway, nani anaenda huko? He also seen Pastor Muiro. I didn't even understand what he was saying.
Yeah, that's very true, Father. I once went in one of the churches around Kayole. Like, I think it was 2 years ago, I think. There was a friend of mine, he's from Germany. We went to one of the, this orphanage.
Yeah.
So we walked there, then it was like, it was Saturday. Let's go to one of the churches today evening. I told him, no, I never go to any other church apart from the Catholic Church. He was like, okay, but the Catholic Church is very far, so let's just go to any church. I told him, no, I can't. So when you were going back home, he said, there's a church. I see there's something like, let's go. I told him, no. So we went home. we had a rest a bit from like 2 hours. Then somewhere around 3, he came to awaken me up. Like, let's go. I told him, no. We quarreled a lot. I can't go. He said, let's go. I said, fine. We went in there. We found people. They were singing, dancing, giving offerings and what. Then when we finished the prayers, we went back home. We really had a very bad moment together. We really became like enemies. Totally. For him, the voice got lost. So, okay, I was sleeping on the upper bed, he was sleeping down, and we did not even pray that day in the evening. And we used to pray every day in the morning and the evening. We did not pray with those, nothing happened. And the following day in the morning, he said, yeah, I'm very sorry, I thought we went to a church, and see, even my voice has just gone. So we had to tell the people in the house, like, you see, we went to that church. He said, what? You people who told you to go to that church? You should have asked. That's a devil worshiper. That guy has something like, I don't know, it's a very big snake at the back of the word. And he was like, what? So these things are very practical. These things are very practical. So it's really, we really need to be very careful.
My brother, anafanya lawyer. Sasa alisema driver wa Uhuru wa kwanza alikuwa rafiki yake. So normally Uhuru anampelekanga Kakamega Forest usiku. Jioni. So anampeleka anamwacha kama hapa. Alafu yeye ana walk ndani. So siku moja huyu askari akasema, huyu driver akasema wacha nifuate. Akamfuata. Sasa alikuta Uhuru na nyoka wanaongea. Nyoka imekaa hivi. So he saw him, Uhuru, akakuja akamwambia, what you have seen never say. This guy came and he said, the following day was dead.
Yeah, I heard that story. Some years back, I heard that story.
So my brother was telling me that.
Yeah. These things are there, especially we young people in the Catholic Church. We follow the dancing, the music and what, then we
and
forgot
money,
our...
because Uhuru give you money.
Yeah.
Sasa kuna hii papa inapeana pesa. Mtaka yeye mzungu kwa mambo.
Yeah.
But sometimes you ask. And you see, like now, my brother was telling me, all those people who are ready to guard or war as askari, walikuwa wananunuliwa Passat. Si wewe ni askari unataka kumfuata, unanunuliwa gari free. Na yeye itishangi correction, sasa sijui anatoa pesa wapi. Unaona kama anatoa wapi?
He has the power to ask for.
It's serious.
Now, the other thing is, as pro-drivers, you must assess, discuss, analyze the local situations with your enemies or with the people you are. Analyze. You know, like what you are now doing, 20 to Siende, you could have analyzed the situation. And I think when we say, let us not follow, when the heart is telling you, please don't, accept the voice of the heart. Sometimes it's very important. So we must analyze. Even the people we are with and we are discussing, before you just follow, analyze those issues. And it will be. And then constantly look for opportunities to advise the course of life. Yeah? Assess, discuss, and analyze the local situation with your Alice. Alice, Amaris, whatever you pronounce it. So you must always look ahead before you do anything. Even when someone comes and tell you, I have seen a business and I think you need to do it and we can do it. Don't just rush. Kuna kitu mtu anakimbia. Na ni wengi sana wamekoniwa hivyo. Final unaachwa. Yeah. So we have to be very careful before we do that. And here is where we are also told as pro-drivers we should keep ourselves informed and inform people by writing articles also in the newspaper. Mm-hmm. There is a time I used to write in the news nation, but I don't know what happened. I also slept. Even if it is small, people will see your name and read. You influence people. And any other magazines, like even this magazine Yakanisa, you can ask for a space, try something small. And that can help you. So we must look for those opportunities. Then we also need to look for opportunities where we can spread this gospel. And there are opportunities. It can be in schools, it can be in the churches, it can be in the youth groups, it can also be in the. By the way, kuna group mbili za kanisa zinapotea, CME na CWA. They are not faith groups in the church. They are becoming merry-go-round groups and business groups. Asina imani, ni pesa wanatoa siku hizi na kuchanga, sio maombi, sio Bible, sio nini. So our mothers and our fathers are getting lost. I don't know if you know that. And who is the problem?
It's a very serious question. Very serious question.
I don't know to say who is the problem, but you know. And I have seen the problem, and I've also discussed it in our meetings.
Yes.
And if you want to know the problem is this, can I tell you the problem? I'm not going to give you the problem, but I will tell you the problem. Why are today people rushing to physician? Yes. Why are people going for prayers there every Friday? They can even hire a matter to go there. Why are people going to Komaro for spiritual? Some are even going all the way to Tanzania, Uganda, shrines and wherever. So what is happening in our parishes? That's why I'm saying I don't have an answer. But you need to think about it. And I've been asking people questions. Is it true that the same God I'm praying in a Shara church is the same God who is praying in Venetia? How come the God of Venetia is more powerful than the God of Shara? And the sacrament is the same.
It's a challenge, of course.
I know you are not getting what I'm asking, but I want you to think. Reflect on it.
But you see, Father, maybe what I can also try to go around there is, for me, what I feel, the fact is, families are broken up, and that's where we were expecting to get everyone out of the family. So they say, tell me your child, I'll tell you your behavior.
Yeah.
So it indicates that whoever goes to serve anywhere, be it in the family, in the church, and whatever, because of the family being in two pieces, we find also people are coming out as pieces. So it's a problem all over, but I think the family is the source.
You know, I don't want to. I'm only posing reflective questions so that you know you have a work to do.
Yeah, in fact, we have to.
I want to post it so that from now you're able to know. The other one is you must bring your parents together as pro-livers. You know, we are talented different. If you read the First Corinthians, chapter 13 and 12 and 13, is about St. Paul talking about the gift.
Exactly.
Kila mmoja wetu akona talanta yake.
Exactly.
Let us bring them together. Let's go with them. You know, you can go to the schools.
First Corinthians chapter
13, 12 and 13.
Yes.
You can go to the school and act. You can go to the school and show them a video. You can go to school. You know, we use our talents.
Exactly.
And even we can have, there are those who are very good in art. You can present those things in art. So let's use our talent to do that. And lastly, you need to know, pro-livers are easily discouraged. Pro-livers are easily discouraged. Why? You meet so many obstacles on their way. And some of these obstacles you meet include unfair criticism. Somebody can emphasize on one weakness you did a long time ago, and he is not ready to say you have changed. So he will criticize you on that and that and that until you lose, and then you lose the focus.
Exactly.
But you must know, Mary Magdalene, Maria Magdalena, you know Sakai.
Exactly.
You know, so we can be discouraged by that. And we need therefore to avoid those criticism, and instead of getting angry and annoyed and stressed, pray for your enemies. Pray for those who are criticizing you. And in other words, be full of Christ. Be full of Christ. Christ who saved Mary Magdalene is the same Christ who can save you. Christ who saved Zacchaeus is the same Christ who can save you. Christ who saved that thief is the same Christ who can. So don't be discouraged by hata kama mlifanya hiyo makosa na yeye, Imanishi you stay there. No. You just wake up and walk. I think nimemaliza na hapa nimefikisha masaa yangu yote ya kutoroka. That's too much. Wacha tukae hivyo.
It's not too much, but we even still need more from you.
Nilikuwa tunataka kuonjesha tu kidogo.
Kwa kweli, we have been interested.
So that the next time.
I think we can even be having a monthly meeting.
Maybe that one is not a thing. As for the life runners, you are supposed to meet every first week of every month. So it's not something of thing.
And
it is the
we Sacred Heart Mass.
Exactly.
Because every Friday of the first month is the Sacred Heart Month day.
Okay.
It's dedicated to Sacred Heart.
Exactly.
We hope you enjoyed the program and will join us back for another show on WCA.